All right, awesome. All right, thank you very much everyone for joining in today. We have started the recording of the session, and today is the first session in the series of Copado sessions as part of Impact Salesforce Saturday. And I'm really grateful for all of you to be here. You stand a chance to win 3 Salesforce Copado certification vouchers today. And we have our esteemed guest and inaugural and opening keynote speaker, Carlos Siqueira here. So again, let's welcome Carlos. Carlos, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for the invitation. Glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you, Carlos. So this is the first time, guys, something like this is being attempted at the community level. Again, Copado does its sessions all the time, but this is the first time as a community group, we are doing a series of sessions on Copado. So there are going to be 4 sessions, and I really want to thank our speaker, Hari, for he's part of the Sri Lankan Salesforce community, for volunteering and coming up and saying yes to our invitation of becoming a speaker and giving these sessions. Thank you very much, Hari. I'll introduce you to Hari in some time. But first, let's go back to Carlos, and let's invite him and let's initiate with his keynote. So a little bit information about Carlos, guys. So Carlos is a Salesforce MVP. He's right now working at Copado Solutions, and he's been a Dreamforce speaker. He's been a Trailhead DX speaker. He's also the host of MVP Office Hours Portuguese. He speaks multiple languages. He's a husband and he's a father. And right now he's been involved with Salesforce community for quite some time. He's a near and dear friend of mine, and he's been involved with Salesforce community for quite some time. And for quite some time also, he's been part of Copado. Now he's, again, I'll leave up to you, Carlos. Again, if you can introduce yourself, if you can give us a little idea about your journey through how did you got into Salesforce, your journey to Salesforce and Salesforce community, becoming a Salesforce MVP, and then finally joining Copado Solutions as a company. Tell us about yourself. Tell us about your journey. We are all thrilled, and we would love to hear about it.
Thank you, Atul. Thank you so much. Yes, folks. My name is Carlos Siqueira. I'm a Salesforce MVP for 4 years in a row. I'm also 8 times certified in Salesforce. I'm also Salesforce certified instructor and 2 times certified in Copado, the admin and the developer. The reason that I'm here today is nothing else but because people like Atul Gupta was in there in the beginning for me. Okay, the mantra, the philosophy of a Salesforce Johanna, this is what it's all about. So back in 2015, I had already like a close to 25 years experience on the mainframe world, but I didn't see my career going nowhere. And I started to take a look. I had done development, I have done, project management, but it wasn't fulfilling anymore. And then I started to find things about Salesforce. I gave up the mainframe world. I had to do neck surgery on Thanksgiving Day, 2015. And immediately start to do Trailhead, and start to get plug in the community. In February of 2016, I got my first gig there where I work 6 months for free, so it's very important to emphasize that the journey is not easy always, but the rewards, they do exist, so I work 6 months for free, driving 1.5 hours each way. So total of 3 hours a day driving back and forth to do that. And the rest is pretty much in history. I found people like Atul, that was my very first mentor. I found a lot of people in the community. I found people like Igor Androzov, that finally is working for Salesforce now in Japan. He was local here with the Tampa with me. I found people MVP like Doug Ayers, Steve Moe, and a lot of others that really encourage you to be successful in the community. And in 19 months, so to speak, I became a Salesforce MVP, not because of the technical skills, but because of my involvement. helping people in Brazil. I'm originally from Brazil, so I speak Portuguese and I speak Spanish as well. So my involvement with community gave me the honor, the recognition of being a Salesforce MVP. Good.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a brilliant journey, Carlos. And yes, I've been part of that journey. I've seen you grow, and you've grown tremendously. Thank you very much for all you do for the Salesforce community. So guys, Carlos is really active on social media, so do check him out. Sushanti, we have a couple more people, if you can let them in. Thank you. Now, Carlos, tell us about how did you got involved with Copado, right? It's a DevOps company. How did you got in, and what's your role like at Copado right now? We would love to understand that.
Okay. I have been on the ecosystem for 4 years now. Okay, it started in February 2016. The thing is, things happen. It happened very fast. Okay, so started to work as an admin, even though I have all these certifications. There's a lot of stuff that I really never had a chance to touch it, and not like tons and tons of implementations. And one of the things that always got me really scared was change sets, implementation time. When you have to go and implement hundreds and hundreds of metadata and components in there for one environment to the other, it was always a nightmare. Last year, I started to take a look in other things related to the process. How could that thing, be easier for people to do? And I started to take a look on Copado. I started to look into that, and I start to invest on them. And I say, hey, you can be an admin, you can be a developer, you can be an architect. Guess what? You can be a DevOps professional as well inside of the Salesforce community. And that's pretty much I discovered. I approached Copado. Then I was introduced to one of our founders and CTO, Federico Larsen. And he pretty much, he was in the United States close to before Dreamforce. And he called me and he said, hey, I know you're here. I understand that, you have these qualifications here. You Salesforce Mvp, instructor, several languages and stuff. And I want to see if you have an interest on work with us. And I say, yeah, sure, why not? It's a small company growing. And I found out that what Copado was offering, nobody else was offering there. And to prove this is the Salesforce is one of the major investors in Copado. So that's a validation that the technology, the methodology, that what we're solving is really critical for the markets. And before I joined Copado, I got my certification. Okay, it took me like 3 days. I'd never seen DevOps before. I didn't know what was a Git, what was a branch and stuff like that. And the rest is pretty much history. I went to Dreamforce 2019 already as ready to start with Copado. The team was in there with open arms, to me, and the journey has been great. I have great mentors inside the company, and the company really cares about the community. To prove that, we are offering this certification. Our goal is to get 10,000 people certified in Copado. Just in the month of May alone, we got over 1,000 people certified all over the globe. So I'm really happy to be part of Copado. I started as a sales engineer, and 2-3 weeks ago, I changed roles and I became a technical evangelist, which I think is closer to my call, to be involved with the community. And as the word says, evangelist, the good news, to go in there and spread the good news about Copado, about DevOps, and make people understand what is DevOps, what kind of problems DevOps is addressing, and how DevOps is going to make you a better professional, is going to make your teams more competitive, more aggressive, more successful. Make sense?
Yes, absolutely, Carlos. I think you have got an awesome journey, and congratulations for getting into this role of a technical evangelist. I know this is something that you're very good at, and this is something that you, me, and we all feel very, very passionate about working for the entire community. Thank you very much. Now, Carlos, I've got a couple more questions for you, to
Okay.
kind of, introduce you more to the community and get a little more perspective from your side.
Okay.
What do you think about DevOps in general, right? And again, you kind of explained exactly how Copado is taking care of it, but what do you think about DevOps right now and its future, especially in terms of Salesforce? Um, what's your thoughts around it?
Okay. I mean, we all know this how great it is Salesforce, right? I mean, the speed that you have to to develop it, put the go-to-market thing, when you have your applications ready and stuff like that. The thing is, when I first came to Copado, I wasn't sure what the DevOps would be. My mind, DevOps is just not apply. It doesn't apply just to IT. For my mind, DevOps is pretty much the methodology, the process of managing releases, and that can be an IT. That can be if your company make cars, if your company makes fruit juice, anything that you have that you sell that you need to improve your product, right? So how you refine? If you take a model of a TV that you produced like 10 years ago, in order to be competitive, you need to evaluate. Cars 10 years ago, they didn't have like a big screens, they didn't have a Wi-Fi. A lot of cars today, they have a Wi-Fi, so they have the evolution. So what's DevOps for me is a constant process. That's why we have the loop here, that's the loop here. Is a never-ending process of getting better in your products. So what Copado does, he allows you three specific things that DevOps, and on my mind, that's my words, in my mind, what DevOps does. The goal is, number one, to deliver things, to produce things, faster, meaning requirements, and you get a requirement and you do that fast, number one. Number two is to do that with the quality, because it doesn't make any sense to do fast without the quality. And number three is to do with frequency, how often you can do things, okay? So right now, everybody talks about the digital transformation, right? Well, the digital transformation will not happen if you don't have the proper tools. So Copado pretty much enables you to get that level of transformation. Because if, for instance, if your company make changes like every 3 months you do new implementations, you don't have a structure to do tests or development, and and as I said, you don't do that often. Well, the very first thing, going back, you do fast. Instead to take 3 months to do something, you can do probably in a matter of weeks. That's the speed. Number two is with the quality, because Copado allow you to monitor your whole life cycle from first design to implementation and monitoring. The quality is better, so you have a better product. With the better product is less maintenance. So less maintenance, your team can be focused on creating new things instead of be fixing things. So that's number two. Number one, speed. Number two, quality. Number three, how often. Instead to do things like every 3 months, you do by the hour, by the minute. So that's the promise of DevOps. Okay, that's what DevOps is solving. Going forward, the way that I could see DevOps evolving, I would like to see a little bit of AI, artificial intelligence, and maybe even machine learning, because then you could have more precise, you could increase your level of automation, by combining, artificial intelligence and machine learning. I would like to see that applied to the DevOps environment, where your pipelines will be better, you'll be more dynamic. But this is just me, is a wishful thinking here.
No, I'm pretty sure, if any company would be doing it, I'm pretty sure Copado would be the first one implementing those kind of things. And with the people like you, visionaries, they're on the team. You're there to provide the product to team, all the feedback you can get from the community. So I think that's great. So Carlos, again, this is really insightful. Thank you very much for joining us today. Right, and thank you very much for introducing us and telling us about your story, how you got into Salesforce, and how you're associated with the community. Again, any last things that you would like to share with everyone before we can kick off with the session of Hari?
Well, I mean, I'm very happy that Harry is involved. Harry is the very first Copado MVP in there. He's doing a great work. And it's always important to know, as I said before, Copado is a great company, really involved in the community. We have a big presence in India. We're hiring people in India. We're doing events in India. And not just in India, I just did list past Thursday. I did one, the very first one for Latin America specific for Brazil. So we're all over, so consider Copado, consider a career in DevOps, because it's not a fashion, it's a necessity. And the moment that you accept that you have a DevOps situation, the faster you'll be able to resolve. And, as I said, it's really nice that Harry, is doing that kind of work in there, spreading the word about the goodies about Copado. And I encourage everybody that is on the Salesforce community to, to work hard, to connect, to reach out, don't be discouraged. Oh, because I don't have a certification, I don't know anything. Well, nobody is born knowing everything, so capitalize on, take advantage of the community in a good way. The community is in there to support you. Join the Salesforce, join the Ohana, join the Copado Academy as well. It's the largest community in the world about DevOps. It's called Copado Academy. And I'm here, to help. Copado is in there to help you in your DevOps journeys. We'll be there, all the way to the end.
Awesome. Thank you for ending the opening keynote here, Carlos, with those inspiring words. So again, guys, I cannot say again, if this would have been in person, I would have said a big round of applause for Carlos. But yeah, thank you very much, Carlos. Thank you for joining in. And Carlos, we would love if you can hang around a little more. And
Okay.
I'll just hand this over to Sushant now and Hari to kick off the session. Thank you, guys. This is going to be a wonderful journey. 4 sessions full of learning for the next 4 weeks. Hari, thank you for doing this. And thank you, Carlos, for joining in today and kicking this beautiful series of sessions. Thank you.
Be safe.
Thank you so much, Carlos, for joining. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Prashant.
Thanks, Atul. Thanks. All right, so let's get started with our today's session. Our guest speaker, we have Hariprasath. He's a Copado MVP from Sri Lanka, and he's also an analytics champion as well, and a Copado certified Salesforce developer. And yeah, so Hari, can you please share your screen?
Yes, guys. Thanks, Sushant, and thanks, Carlos, for the nice words. And yeah, I'm really excited to share my knowledge about Copado with you guys. So I'll share my screen. I think someone is sharing screen. Who's that? Okay. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Can you see my screen? You need to see my slides right now.
Yeah, we can see your screen. Right now it's showing like Vouchers. Yeah.
Yeah, there
now.
you go.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, I think now you can see my screen, right, guys?
Yes, we can see screen. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, this view is fine. Yeah, let's move ahead with this view. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Okay, guys. I'll switch my videos off to ensure that I can save my some bandwidth over here.
Yeah, that's totally fine, Hari. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Okay, great. So thanks, guys. Oh, good evening, all of you. Thanks, Carlos, and thanks, Shushan, and thanks, Atul, for inviting me for these sessions. So my name is Hariprasath, and I'm really excited to welcoming you all to the Copado series that organized by you guys, Salesforce Saturday group and New Delhi Salesforce group. And also special, I have to thank Susan. He's the one who invited me for this session to conduct this session. So thanks, Susan, to inviting me to these sessions. So before moving to this one, so I will introduce myself first. So I'm now working as a senior Salesforce developer at Wiley. So I was introduced. So I have to tell my journey of Salesforce and Copado as well, right? So I was introduced to the Salesforce platform around 5 years back when I was working as a Java engineer at WSO2, where I was developed some connectors for WSO2 ESP. So in the ESP, we need to we need to connect the enterprise Salesforce system with the other enterprise system. So I was developed these connectors, but I never fully involved with Salesforce environments. So and afterwards, I completely moved to Salesforce around 3 years back. Yeah, 3 years. Yeah. From that onwards, I'm fully working on Salesforce. So I have to tell about Copado, right? So I heard the name Copado only around 9 months back. So 9 months back only, I was heard the name Copado, and afterwards I've been working with Copado around almost every day from the day I heard about Copado. So I'm also like a fresh guy, guys, fresh guy to this Copado. So we will be learning together and get some knowledge about Copado, guys. So I'm really excited to share my knowledge with you all, guys. So if you have any questions, so feel free to shoot any question, guys, to me. Then I will respond to those questions after finishing this session. So you can connect me via my LinkedIn, Twitter, anywhere. So I can respond to you guys if you have any questions. So the next session about slides about New Delhi Salesforce group. I think Shushan, I think you can have some. You can tell about this, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Hari, for introducing you all. Okay, so as you know, we are a part of New Delhi Salesforce Develop Group. So these are some social media links. You can connect with us. So we are in existing since February 2016, and after that we are running several initiatives. One of them is Impact Salesforce Saturday. So this particular initiative in which we come up with on every Saturdays, or sometimes we have to schedule it on Sunday for this. So this particular initiative is bringing a webinar series or a particular session virtually on every Saturdays to all of you guys, so that in this particular initiative we will invite our guest speakers to give their sessions on various Salesforce or Salesforce related topics. This is the first time when we are introducing a Salesforce related topic, that is Copado, which is a very well-known DevOps tool and in the market for Salesforce right now. So this is one of our initiative, Impact Salesforce Saturday. And apart from this, can you move one slide ahead? Sorry. Okay, so apart from this, we also running our few other initiatives, that is Mentorship Central. And so this Mentorship Central is basically a platform provided by us where you can register themselves as a mentor or as a mentee, and you can share the knowledge across them. Those who are new to this Salesforce ecosystem and want to set up their career in Salesforce, so they can use this particular platform where they can connect with our Salesforce expert and make them as their mentors, and these mentors will guide you through entire your Salesforce learning. So this is really helpful for those who seriously want to learn Salesforce or finding and looking for some mentor. So you just go there and register, and if you want to like know about our initiative more, then you can connect us to our office through our official website, which is New Delhi sfdc.com. This is our official website. You can visit there, and you can find over there all our upcoming sessions and all our previous sessions scheduled by us. And in each session, you can find the YouTube videos and the slides of each session. So this is really helpful if you want to learn about some topics on which we are already scheduled our Impact Salesforce Saturday events. Okay. Okay, I think so. That's all from our end. Hari, you can go ahead with your session, and the stage is yours. Thanks.
Thanks, Susan. Thanks for the explanation about the New Delhi Salesforce DG. Thanks, you guys. Yeah, you guys did some great initiatives, guys. Best of luck for your future also. So yeah, we will move to we'll move to this session. So the aim of this session to understand what is Copado in terms of the Salesforce DevOps, and so you guys need not to know nothing specifically to learn about Copado, but it's better you can you may, I think, as we all are Salesforce developers, so that means we know about Salesforce, and we need to know JIT basics. So it's like it's totally optional, because the JIT things anyway, we are integrating JIT with Copado to maintain the history of the metadata. So it's not mandatory. So if you know the JIT basic, then this should be fine to understand Copado very clearly. And also you need to know about the Salesforce deployment processes. So that's we are creating sandboxes, and from the sandboxes we are creating our requirements, and we will deploy those changes to the upper environments like integration, UAT, and production. So you only need to know about these things. So before moving to our sessions, so we may think that what is Copado and why it's really important to have it in our Salesforce orgs. So we all know that we are developing our features, if you need to release a feature, if you need to release a new feature, then what we are doing is we are just developing our features in our developer org or developer sandboxes. And after developing our changes, we need to deploy those to a integration environment where DQVs and other people need to test and validate our changes that we deployed, that we are going to deploy to production. So afterwards, after deploying to integration and after QV pass that new changes, then we need to deploy those into a pre-production environment where that the business users need to test these functionalities, whether this functionality is breaking any other existing functionality in our live environment. For this, we have a process, right? We have a process to have a structured process to deploy those changes all the way to production from the lower environment. So we'll move to the next slides. So what is exactly Copado? So Copado, this is like a definition I put about Copado. So Copado is like a #1 DevOps tool native to Salesforce. This is helping admins, not these 4 team members. It's like it's helping all of the team to deliver the feature in a faster and a secure manner to the production. But before moving to Copado, we need to discuss, right? We need to discuss how we are usually moving metadata changes to the upper environments like production all the way from the lower environments. So as we all know, we have out of the box or the built-in Salesforce tools available to deploy the changes, like change sets, force.com migration tools, and force.com IDE, Eclipse. So we're not going to discuss, or we are not going to discuss, or we are not going to see how these change sets work, or migration tools work, or the other tools work. So here we are going to discuss only the limitation of each tools that we are using to deploy those changes all the way to upper environment like productions. So you can see in these slides, you can see that we are having 3 different tools that we have to deploy the changes. So what are the limitations? For example, we will see only the change sets. So we can just go ahead and we can discuss about change sets. So what are the limitations that change set has? We all know, right? We can't deploy the different types of metadata in one shot. So what does this mean? So for example, if you need to try to deploy objects and Visualforce pages using change set, then what we need to do is we need to first build the package XML to deploy the objects. And afterwards, and thereafter, we need to create another change set to deploy Visualforce pages. So you need to have like you need to create multiple change sets to deploy the changes. So it will take times. And also it's not feasible to merge code in common Salesforce or from other developers because there is no out-of-the-box version control system configured with Salesforce. And also, so we can't use it, as we all know that we can't use the same change set to move the changes, right? If you have if you need to move the changes or the metadata changes all the way from dev 1 to, for example, dev 1 to integration, then you have to create a specific change set to deploy that. And and the same changes you need to deploy to another environment like UAT. Then you have to create another change set to deploy those changes. So you have to create more and more change sets to deploy different environments. And also, it's not possible. So it's not possible to integrate with version controls. So it's not possible. We don't have the out-of-the-box tools or out-of-the-box Salesforce to integrate version control system. And also, there are no partial deployment using changes. For example, you are deploying some changes to all the way from dev 1 to UAT. And in the middle of the deployment, you are having some issues like merge. There are conflicts happen in your deployment. Then you have to resolve it in the lower environment, and you have to deploy this all the way from scratch to the UAT. So there is no way you can deploy the outstanding metadata. And likewise, we are having a hell lot of limitation in changes. Likewise, for example, when you just take migration tools or the other IDE Eclipse, you may see that we are having some dependencies that we need to handle to remove some limitations or remove some issues. So likewise, we are having a lot of issues. So we'll move to next. So as we discussed, so we are having these kind of limitation that have when we do the deployment. So as from now, I think we can see that. So if we are having these kind of issues, how we can overcome these kind of limitations, right? So we need to have a powerful tool that is help us to migrate the changes all the way to production from the lower environment. So we'll move to Copado and see what Copado gives us to overcome these issues. So this is the Copado architecture that we can see this. So the Copado enables us to operate Salesforce faster with more trust. So Copado is, as we all know, right? Copado is a 100% native to Salesforce end-to-end DevOps release platform. So DevOps on Salesforce can encompass all kinds of team members that may be like developers, admins, or QA release managers, business analysts, project managers, and product owners, and all kind of team members. So what Copado does is Copado brings all team members together in one place, which is our well-known Salesforce platform. So we're all familiar with Salesforce. So Copado is built on Salesforce. So from that, we can collectively create business requirements in this space. So we can build, we can build, or we can create our business requirements. So the product owners or project managers, Scrum Master, they can build the requirements, and afterwards the developers can develop those in the lower developer environments, and afterwards we can move these changes to a QV environment, and the QV, so and the metadata changes that the developers done in the lower environments can be tested by a QA team member. So the QA team members can test those changes, and after that we can successfully testing after the successful testing, the deploy manager can deploy these changes to the upper environment and release these to your end users. So, but after you release, you have to monitor these changes. After this is going to live, we need to monitor these impact. So after the changes went to production, we need to monitor these impact, and afterwards we have to plan accordingly. So this is not like a one-time task, right? This is like an iterative process. As we all know that Salesforce implementation is not the one-time task, right? It's an iterative loop, right? It evaluates as we need to continue to grow. So that's where the DevOps implementation coming to picture. You can see here in this picture. Here we have some go live gaps. When you think about Salesforce, when you think about Salesforce, we are having Salesforce. We have some go live gaps. So we'll discuss what are the gaps we are having. So even if we discuss this in when we talk about this change set, but we will discuss more in depth in this picture. So we all know that native Salesforce doesn't have the structured release process. So as you all know that even through you can set up the deployment connection, right, natively in Salesforce like change sets, but you can't force any kind of sequence. Like you can't have a structured release process like Dev 1, UAT, and QA production. You don't have a structured release process when you use change set. You can deploy from Dev 1 to UAT, or you can deploy Dev 1 to some other environments. So you don't have a structured release process. Also, out of the box, Salesforce has no version control at all. you know, right? So you have no capability to be able to version your metadata changes, which means, so you don't know the metadata changes versioning at all if you don't have a version controlling in the system. And for example, and if you're having forbid, you made a mistake and deploy the changes, then you shouldn't have using Salesforce build tools don't have a mechanism to roll back these changes. So when you do some deployment changes, mistakenly done some deployment changes to the other environment, then you don't have a mechanism to roll back those changes out of the box in Salesforce. And also, out of the box, the Salesforce has no capability for automating the deployment process, like continuous integration or continuous deployment, and you don't have any kind of quality checks. You don't have any kind of quality checks before reaching to the upper environment. So out of the box, Salesforce only has like, you can do validate only deployment. So validate only deployment only we have in out of the box Salesforce when you do using change set deployment, but issues, nothing else, right? So we can't enforce any kinds of quality assurance other than the code coverage check. So we have to check these kind of quality outside our Salesforce. And also there are no capability natively in the Salesforce to keep the production sandbox and the developer sandboxes sync at all. So we only option is we need to always refresh the sandboxes. So we don't have a way we can sync the sandboxes every time. And also, we have no ability in the Salesforce, out of the box Salesforce, to prevent merge conflicts. Because we discussed that in out of the box, we don't have any version controls at Salesforce. So we can't prevent these merge conflicts. So if you have done any merge conflicts, or if you encountered any merge resolve this in your lower environment, and afterwards you have to again build the package XML files and stuff to do the deployment. And also we have no ability to collaborate between the teams. For example, with the developers, admins, owners, product owners, or business analysts, and other kind of team members. And also we don't have the ability to integrate with any third-party DevOps, third-party tools, and there's no out-of-the-box Salesforce feature that can like enforce the quality, like complaints through check and the code check, to code coverage and code checks, and those kind of out-of-the-box tools in Salesforce. So according to this process, the above discussed point are the go live gaps for native Salesforce, right? Here is the Copado comes in the picture. So here only the Copado comes in the picture to fill these gaps for us. So if you are a Salesforce company or Salesforce, you are using Salesforce as a CRM tool, then you have to the developers need to develop their features, and it's need to be go live into the production. So these are the gaps you can see that if you are using change sets, you can feel these kind of issues you have, right? So the goal of the Copado to fill these gaps and helps the end customers like us to connect all of the team members, like developers and everybody, in a common platform. That is Copado, and it is 100% native. So it's very easy for us to understand the platform because Salesforce is very familiar with us, for us. Right? So for that, Copado has built integration between systems. So what we just need to do is we need to just do some configurations. So there are the simple configuration that we have to do to use these kind of third-party tools. For example, JIT, Jira, and PMD implementation like static code analysis, and with Copado. So you can see here, this is the Copado architecture. So we'll go through the architecture now. So here you can see that Copado is always installed in a single Salesforce org, only once. For the pipeline, we will be managing with Copado to achieve our needs in terms of DevOps for Salesforce. So you can see that typically Copado installed in a production org, and it's orchestrate the deployments to the production from the lower environments. So according to the deployment flows that we configured in the Copado. So here you can see this is the Copado install org, and this one is orchestrate the deployment from all the way to lower environment until production. So afterwards, you can see that there are several environments. So like we discussed, there are several environments that can be connected to Copado in any sequence to have a structured release, because we discussed that using chain set we can't do a structured release. So here you can see we can do a structured release process, because we can see that there is a pipeline over here, there is a process. We can have the one integration UAT, so you can have a structured release process. So you can see that how these been connected with the Copado. So these environments that are connected to Copado using OAuth is native to Salesforce. And also we can connect any kinds of environments like Dev Pro, partial, or full copy sandboxes, and even the production org can be connected to manage through Copado. And also you can see here, Copado uses JIT for the version controlling. So for the JIT integration, we can use any standard JIT providers like GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, and Azure Records. And also you can see that we all know that we have some challenges with the Salesforce governance limits. So we all know that the Copado is also a managed package. So using Copado, so we have to do a lot of operations when we do the deployments to the upper environments from the lower environment. So there we need to commit the metadata to keep the versioning of our changes in the JIT provider. So sometimes we need to resolve the merge conflicts, like we discussed in the change set. Here also we need to resolve the merge conflicts, but we don't need to do it. So the Copado can do for us. So, and also sometimes we need to do a batch of metadata deployment with different user stories. For example, from day one to some multiple destination environments, you may need to do the deployment. So we need to think a lot in terms of governance limits. Also, we need to think, right? So to resolve these issues, to getting more higher governance limits, so Copado has its own backend that connect with the Salesforce. So we don't need to worry about these things as a users. We don't need to worry about anything about these governance limits and everything. So the Copado can handle these in the backend. So, but what we have to do is we just need to go through the we just need to go through the Copado, and we just need to do some point and click UI features to achieve our goals, to deploy the changes until the production. So I think you might understand about the Copado architecture. So we will go to the next slides where we can see what are the values that Copado gives us as a team. For the team, what are the values that added by Copado? So as Carlos mentioned, so we need to have these kind of processes, these kind of values that need to be added in our Salesforce environments to go faster to the market. So Copado has given us to go faster to time to market, because we don't need to worry about to building package XML files to deploy different environments and different places. You don't need to worry about anything. You just need to go and click something. This will go until production. It's very easy, right? So this is very fast time to market. And also this is reduce the risk for the complex implementation, like the conflict resolution and the conflict resolution, and to build the XML files, you have to have a technical requirement. So you don't need to worry about anything. So Copado itself, it implement everything. So you don't need to worry about anything. And also you need to have a more secure and predictable and stable releases. And also Copado align the business goals with the technology, because earlier we need to do a lot of things, a lot of building XML files and a lot of stuff. But now we don't need to worry about anything. So the Copado tool is aligned with the business goals. So we install Copado in our org, and we do some minimum configuration, and we have just to do some point and clicks. So the features that we develop is going to production very fast, and also optimize the team performance, like Carlos mentioned that. So we don't need to worry about, or we don't need to spend time to just to deploy the stuff. So we can more focus on our new features and how we can improve our existing functionalities to a great way. Okay, so now you may have some questions, right? So we have Salesforce platform, and we need to install this Copado package. So this is an unmanaged package we have to install into our production. So you may have some question like how we can give the permit of the access to the production to the developers or the admins or the other kind of developers, right, to the production. And also we may have some question about how these commits happen because we are integrated with Salesforce, or how we are doing these commits in the Git repositories. And also we may have some questions, so how these metadata sync with the org and the Git, and also in the different orgs. And also you may have some questions like, so how the users, so as a developer, so how we can authorize to access the Copado. So we will be discussing these in our next slide. So we are going to see these things next. So the first we need to know so what are the prerequisites, or what are the initial Copado configurations that we need to do to access Copado in our orgs. So as we all know, right? So let's assume that we all installed this Copado package in our Salesforce. Then how we can use it? So as we discuss, so how we can do use it. So is there any configuration that we need to complete, right? Or whether we need to allow them to access the Copado with the license, so the profile, so how we can allow the users to do the commits or do the deployments between orgs. So we will be looking it's next. So first one. So what we need to do is it's about like Apex change licenses. So first what we need to do is we need to log into Salesforce environments. So where we installed the Copado package, because you can see that we have different orgs that we are connected in our release process or the deployment flow. So we need to have like so we need to log into our Salesforce environment where the Copado installed, because this is the org. It's like a governance org. In terms of Copado, will orchestrate all of the Copado operations. So, for example, so we are installing this Copado package in our Copado production environment. Then what we have to do is we have to go and assign Copado deploy a Apex change license to the users who's trying to access this Copado in the production. So what we have to do is we just need to assign this Copado exchange license, Copado deploy Apex change license to this particular user to access Copado. This is just like authorize the users to use the Copado in the org where Copado installed. So we will be looking these licenses and how we can really assign these licenses to the users in a minute. And afterwards, after assigning this top level exchange license to that user, then what you have to do is you have to assign a permission sets to use Copado features or functionality. You can see that there are plenty of permission sets available for Copado. There are so it has variety. So it's a plenty of permission set available for functionalities. Using it's like a Copado functionalities like the role specific permission set or feature based permission set. So this is like we have a plenty. It's like more than 50 permission set available for Copado to assign to the user. So this is so we are not going to discuss about this. So you guys can explore these details from the Copado documentation. So here we will see the permission set which is automatically assigned to the user when we create a playground. So here we are going to create a playground. So we can like trailhead or trail orgs. We can create here the playground, Copado playground. So it will create Copado Salesforce trail org and trial org, and in this the Copado install its package and it assign this Copado Apex change licenses, and it automatically assign the top level permission set. That is like Copado user permission set to the user who is installed or who is trying to create this playground. So here we totally depend on the playground. So we will be seeing this highest level permission set to be assigned to a user is Copado user permissions. And you may think here that we discussed earlier that you may think that how we can assign this early license to a user to access the production only to access Copado. There are way we can tackle these. Right? We don't need to give any user a system admin profile to access Copado to deploy the changes. What you have to do is you can create a low-level permission set profile to the user, and afterwards you can assign these permission sets to just access Copado. So you don't need to give them account or the account contact opportunity object license to that particular user. So you don't need to worry about these things. You just need to create a user, and you just need to assign them a low level profile, and afterwards you can assign this permission set is allows that user to access this Copado. And afterwards you have to create and authenticate your own credential against the org where Copado is installed. So what here, why we need to create this org credential, and what is this org credential and so? So you can, we have this question, right? How these Copado, how the user are authorized to access the Copado. Here is the org credential comes in the picture. So every time if the user needs to create, if the user need to do some deployment or whatever thing to access the Copado feature, they need to have an org credential. So the org credential is none other than that this is bind the user to Copado in this org where Copado is installed. This is the connection between the user and the Copado and the org where Copado is installed. So this is the key. This is the key to do the operation with Copado. So you have to create a user. You have to if you need to try out the Copado functionalities, then that user need to have an org credential that need to be authenticated with the org where Copado is installed. In this case, we discussed about production, right? So we have to authenticate the user with the production. And afterwards, you have to generate the personal API key for Copado. So we have discussed this. Copado is integrated with the JIT and other external APIs. So, for example, you have to integrate the JIT and the Copado backend, and you have to schedule the Copado related patches. So, for example, you have to automate your deployment from all the way from lower environments to production. So, for that, you may need to access, or you may need to call some external APIs. So you need to have a personal API key that needs to be identified to allow you to request to that external API. So you have to you have to have that API key. And also afterwards, after creating this API key, then you may need to assign additional feature licenses. So there are plenty of feature licenses available for you in Copado for the users. So for example, if you would like to assign, the other features, there is a app called Copado License Manager. So from where you can assign the additional licenses to that particular user. Then the user can access those additional features as well in the Copado. So there are plenty of licenses available for Copado. The first one is the Copado Enterprise license. So this is the one is the top level. So the topmost license that with this license, the user can do any administrative changes to the Copado package, like customize the Copado apps and creating custom functionalities for Copado. For example, if you are using something in your org and using this license, so the user who has this license only can do these custom functionalities. And also only the user who assign this license only can able to promote. So they are the people who can promote and deploy the changes to production. So no other license user can promote and deploy the changes to production. And the other thing is Copado change management licenses. So the users have assigned with this Copado change management license can only commit the changes. They can commit and promote and deploy the changes in the sandboxes. You may see that there is a sandboxes as well as production in the deployment flow via Copado install. You can see that pipelines, right? In that they can only, the user have assigned with Copado change management, they can only deploy they can only commit the changes and they can promote and deploy to the sandboxes. Even if they have the appropriate credentials and permissions, like even if they have a system admin profile in production, but they can't deploy these changes to the production unless if they are same with the top level license like Copado enterprise license. And the other one is Copado branch management license. So this one is like we can assign. So we can assign this CBM license, Copado management branch management license to any users, because this is used as a link when we set up like deployment flow. So we can, this is like count the links between those Copado environments in the Copado pipeline. So you can't assign these license to any user. And Copado Agile Delivery License. So this is about like Agile Delivery License. It's about feature licenses. So this is used to integrate the Agile tools like Jira and other sort of things. So this is more like an admin license. And compliance hub license. So so when we assign the compliance hub license to a user, the user can create complaints to ensure that the metadata that will move to next environment meets the company's complaints policies. So they can create complaints rules and complaints rule group and everything to like enforce it. They can ensure that the old metadata that move to next environment meets the company's complaint policy. It's more like the check method, like the deployment check or something. And the Copado Selenium testing is used for Copado the testing. So you can using this user. So the users who has this Copado license can do the testing in this. You can do the testing over the metadata that you are going to deploy to environments, the upper environments. So next we'll go through the playground and we'll see how we can assign these like licenses and stuff in our org. Guys, you can see my screen, right? Still?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, so yes. So here you can see my screen. Okay, that's great. So here you can see that this is my trialog, which created from these places. So here you can see this is the Copado Salesforce community. They are having their own success community. So here this is their success community, and here, so what you can see is here you can create your own trailheads. So when you go to here, you can see this is my trailhead. So I have created one trailhead, playground. So here you can see I have created a trialog where I installed, not myself. So Copado has installed its package in my production org. This is my production org, and they have created 1, 2, 3, 5 sandboxes to orchestrate my deployment all the way from lower environments to until upper environment. So here you can see that. So here you can assign this topmost license, like a Copado App Exchange license, so that you can assign here. So install packages. So here you can see this Copado is installed in my trilog, and here you can assign the user to authorize the user to access Copado in this Salesforce. Here you can see this is allow users 10. So you can assign 10 users over here. So you can assign these users, and so afterwards we have to we discuss, right? Yeah, we will go through this one and move to that. So here you can see, so you can assign any users over here, and afterwards we'll need to give them the permission sets. So we can see this one. So this is automatically assigned my users because I am the one who created this trilog. So when you guys create a trilog, it will automatically add this license to you. And also permission sets. Here you can see there are plenty of permission sets. You can see. Here you can see there are plenty of permission sets available for Copado. So you can assign specific permission sets to the user to access this Copado. So, and if you think that we have to narrow down the permissions to a particular user, you can clone this permission set, and you can assign narrow down the permissions and assign that to that particular user. So when you go here, you can see this is what we discussed. This is the top level permission set. If you assign this permission to sets to user, then the user can do pretty much everything in Copado. So you have to just go to this one, and you have to assign these permission sets to the user. You manage assignments. You can assign this permission sets to the user. So it's already assigned to my user because I'm the one who created this trilog. And afterwards what we discuss. Okay. So we have assigned this app exchange license, and afterwards we assign this Copado permission set. Then what we have to do is this O credential. It's the one we need to create to authenticate or to make the connection between the user and the org where we install Copado. So where we can see these details. So what you have to do is you have to go to Copado app. Copado app. This is a Copado app. Here you can see pretty much everything. Like when you go to the app, here this is the great place, or this is a good place to start with Copado. Here you can see the 5 additional tabs over here. So in the general tab, you can go through the Copado documentation and Copado support, and you can see about Copado blogs. And here you can see this is the O credential. This is the place where we can create our own O credentials to authenticate the user with the org where Copado installed. So here you can see there are a list of OAuth credentials that have already been created while creating the trailhead. Trailhead. This is playground, Copado playground. So here you can see these are the dev and these are the sandbox. So these are the sandbox OAuth credentials. So it will be automatically create when you create a trailhead. Playground. So, and afterwards, so when you go to this account summary tab, you can see there are two sub tabs over here. There are two sections. There are two sections. One section you can see there's a license manager and the account summary. So we've discussed this. We have to create an API key to access the external API. So you can create the API key over here. And this is the place we can assign the user the licenses. So here you can go and see. Here you can see that this is the topmost license that has already assigned to this particular user. So this user only can deploy until production. So we only have one license over here. So only with this user only we can deploy these changes. And there are other licenses like change management and there are agile delivery licenses or something like this. So you so how you can assign these to a particular user? You just need to create this one, and you can remove the licenses from these points. You can add or update the user. You can just, now you can see, right, the user license has been successfully removed from this particular user. So you can create a new user in your org and you can assign them the Copado App Exchange license. Afterwards, you can add the permission set. Thereafter, you have to create the OAuth credential in this Getting Started tab. In the Getting Started tab, you can come and create the OAuth credential to authenticate this user with your OAuth. Afterward, you can see this account summary tab. You can assign these licenses, and afterward you can create your API keys and these JIT and pipeline. These things we will be checking in our next session. So we will be discussing about OAuth credentials and other JIT repository. What is JIT repository? How these been integrated, or how these been worked with the Copado, and what is JIT snapshot and JIT snapshots, and what is JIT? How these metadatas are moving from lower environments to upper environments. Everything we will be discussing in the next session. Yes. Okay. I will. You guys can see my screen right now?
Yes, sir, we can see.
Yeah. So guys who are willing to join next session. So it's really good that if you create a playground in Copado, then that would be very great. You can try out. You can hands-on with Copado in the playground itself while we doing the session. So the pre-request, just you have to sign up to Copado community that I have already shown to you guys. So the first thing is you have to create your playground. So you have to first sign up to this Copado success community, and afterwards you can create the playgrounds in this place. You can go ahead here and you can create playground. You can have only one active playground. So if you need to create another one, just delete this one and create a new one. So you can create these playgrounds, and after that you have to have a GitHub account, because in the playgrounds, I think Copado has only available for GitHub. So using GitHub, you can like you have to have a GitHub account to integrate Copado and the orgs with the GitHub. Git. So you need to create a GitHub account. And so the next session, what we are going to do is we will be discussing the key elements of Copado, like O credentials. The O credentials is the key element here, and what is the environments. And it's pretty much like about Copado and Copado features and Copado functionalities and how they integrate org and user and org and Git repo, and we will be like doing changes. So we will like to committing and deploy the changes from all the way to production from the lower end. So we will be discussing these things in our next session. So it would be great that you guys can able to create a playground. Yeah, we all know that we all busy in the days, but this will take only few minutes, so few half an hour to create a playground. So hopefully, I think we will be meeting next session to discussing these elements, and we will be do more hands-on, not like this today, because we have to like understand the basics of the Copado and the deployment process of Salesforce. So we will look more on hands-on next session. And yeah, thank you guys. This is pretty much about my session. I think you guys may understand what is Copado and what is the real need of Copado. And sorry for the trouble in between the session. So I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry, guys. This power is going off, and afterwards my my laptop is suddenly stuck, and afterwards I like spend 5 or 10 minutes. Sorry, guys. Sorry for that.
No worries, Hari. It's happened like that.
Hari, if you can quickly take up some of the questions that people have put into the chat window.
Yeah.
Just start from the beginning all the way to the top, from the top, and go down. And if you're not able to see all the questions, Sushant, if you can help Hari with the questions.
Yeah,
sure.
Thank you.
I think most of the questions we have Carlos. So Carlos, I think already answered most of the questions. So
okay.
Thanks, Carlos.
Great. Thanks, Carlos. Then I think,
I think we are good. And guys, the last thing, which is a quiz. I think most of the guys are waiting for this. So this will give you a chance to win Copado certification vouchers. And guys, this certification voucher is valid for both developer and admin certifications. Okay, so just let me share my screen.
guys, if you guys have any question regarding this one, just shoot me in any platform like LinkedIn or email. I think you guys have I think I forgot to give my email ID also. I think it's better to put there. So I will share my email as well. So if you guys have any question that I can help you guys, I'm really willing to help you. So just
Sure.
give me any questions. Yeah.
Sure, Hari. Thank you very much. So Hari, if you can, disable sharing your screen and you can share your screen, that would be great. Thank you, Hari. Thank you very much for the session.
Yeah, sure. My pleasure.
Please let me know if you are able to see my screen, and you can join this game through this game pin.
Yes, we can, Sushant. Thank you.
Awesome.
I think. Sorry guys, I couldn't. Shushan, are you sharing? Shushan,
No, Hari, now I'm sharing this screen.
Yes, I can see that, Sushant. Yes.
so
Guys, again, just to avoid any confusion, you'll be able to see you'll be able to see the questions here on the screen that Sushant is sharing, and your options are going to be on your mobile phones or the desktop computers where you're logging in to the Kahoot.
Those who have not joined yet, please join. We will just wait for 1 minute and we will start. So guys, we have 12 questions in this quiz, and each question uh, you will get a time of 20 seconds to answer. So guys, you have to be really quick. And I can see few people not joined till yet. We have total count of 46, and I can see only 39 joined. Guys, please join. We will just wait for 30 seconds more, and we will start.
So are we going to discuss these questions after one question, Susan?
No, no, this is just for the fun.
Okay, guys. So
Yeah.
you don't need to. Yeah. Okay. 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 Okay.
Yeah. There's 50 seconds more. We will just wait for 15 seconds and we will start. Please join ASAP. Okay, let's get started. Good luck, everyone.
Yeah. Good luck, guys.
What is the highest level of permission set that need to be assigned to user to use Copado functionality?
I think the question is really simple. I think the people are like,
Suraj P. Keep going, guys. Keep going, Suraj. Keep going, Rao. Installation term Copado also need install in production. Rahul and Mani. Rahul, Mani and Abhi. Keep going, guys. Keep going. We have 10 questions more. Amit taking the lead. We both back in game. Good luck, guys. Next question. Rupesh has the highest answer streak of 3. Good luck, Rupesh. Okay, so we have Robin back in game. Next question. Keep going, guys. Keep going. So we have new top 2 and top 3. Nihal and Pooja. Good luck, guys. Good luck. Keep going. So the license that is used to do administrative changes on Copado package and options. Ninth question, guys. Which of the following is better describing the Copado branch licenses? We have the 4 options. No changes in top 3. Which one is better describing the or credentials? Last question. This is the last question, guys. So congratulations, Pooja. You are on 3rd position. Amit, you are on second, and guess who is our first? Nihal. Congratulations, Nihal. Congratulations, guys. Nihal, Amit, and Pooja. You won
Congrats,
Copado
guys.
certification voucher.
Congrats, guys.
So Atul, in a meanwhile, can you please note down the details for Amit, Nihal, and Pooja, so that we can reach out to them after this session?
Sure, Sushant.
Yeah. So I hope, guys, you enjoyed our today's session, and thank you so much, Carlos, and thank you so much, Hari, for your presence in today's session. And I would like to thank Hari, like he's covering all the topics in a very detailed manner, and I think this would really help our Trailblazer community members to learn Copado end to end if in our upcoming 3 sessions. So thank you so much, Hari. Thank you so much for your session today.
Yeah, thanks, Sushant. I think today we are like more like we are discussing about the theories, like theories of Copado, why it's important stuff. So we will be like more hands-on in next session. So that will be like more interested, not like today. And we'll be doing hands-ons. Guys, please create this playground, and you guys also can do the hands-on in that, and we will be like learning more about Copado in next sessions. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the invitation, Sushant and Atul. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hari. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Hari. Thank you so much. So Atul, are we good to close out today's session? Have you noted down the details?
Sushant, yes. So I've got Nihal's email ID, nihal.babul, and then I've got Amit's email ID, Amit Ojha, and then I've got Pooja's email ID, agarwal.pooja0190. So I've got all of their email IDs. So guys, thank you very much for your email IDs. We'll reach out to you respectively via your email IDs, and you'll be given your certification vouchers within the next 3 to 4 days. Sushant, we can wrap it up.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so we can wrap it today's session. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you so much, Carlos, and thank you so much, Hari, for your presence. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day ahead. Stay safe and stay healthy. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. See ya. Thank you, Sushant.
Thanks, all. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.